Hey, this is Jeff Kelly. Today, I just want to take some time and talk a little bit about how search engines decide where to actually put a website on the search results page. This is a search engine optimization and observing search engines, how they work, and all that. There's a lot of science and experimentation, and we use a lot of data to determine what the factors are that are being considered and how important they are, how strongly they matter, and that sort of thing. And I think that just kind of spending a few minutes talking about what a search engine is trying to accomplish, what factors it considers, how does a search engine business's desire to make money factor in? How does the strength of your particular website or business factor in? I think this will really help you kind of understand the different players involved, and then what a search engine optimizer or somebody doing SEO or a package you might purchase for SEO, what it's trying to accomplish. So the number one thing we need to remember is that search engines are businesses and that they have a goal, which is to make money. So Google, Bing, Apple, all these major search engines, these major players, they're running advertising platforms. And so we're consistently going to see that important, highly sought after, frequently searched keywords and phrases, particularly when there's some sort of commercial intent, like your commercial, meaning the searcher wants to buy something. We're going to consistently see ads on those results pages because that's how that business is making money. So obviously, one way you'll hear us talk about ads is, the phrase, if you want to buy the top. So we can work on search engine optimization. We can do that for a long time. Depending on the competitive situation, it might take a really long time and a lot of effort to bring that website of yours up to the first page. But often you can alternatively buy the top and just purchase ads on that as well. And it's, if you think about investing and how you want to make an investment, you want to have a hedge against loss on that investment. Advertising and SEO go together really, really well because we can buy the top and then we can invest in a long term position where you don't have to buy the top anymore. And you can remove that ad spend over time. So ads and SEO are often very related. As soon as you have, a budget that can justify spending money on both SEO to bring in more business and ads to bring in more business. So the goal of that search engine is to make money. They do that through ads. So those ads are almost always going to be given the top spot if advertising is considered relevant on that search. And that's why if you go do a Google search, popular term, big term, things like that, you're always going to see ad spots at the top. So some other things that search engines are considering, they're considering the intent of the searcher. So the search phrase that goes in to the search box or that the person speaks to their phone, that's just one piece of intent. There's other pieces of intent as well. The search engine knows your search history. If you've been searching consistently for the same thing over time, and like let's say you consistently look for retail locations, that search engine knows that, and it's more likely to understand your intent as a searcher. It's interpreting that intent to mean that you're looking for a physical location, a store you could go visit. It's very different if what you're doing consistently on this particular topic is you're seeking information. You're going to websites that provide information and training. That's a very different intent. So the same phrase entered by different people with different intent or perceived intent by the search engine will bring different results. This is one of the reasons why if I do a search for a particular search phrase and you do a search for a particular search phrase and we're in the same room on the same kind of device, we could get different results. It's because those search engines, they know things about us, right? They know way, way more than just that search phrase that we're entering. I mean, immensely more than the search phrase we're entering. Your location, the believed location of your device that you're searching from, the type of device you're using, your screen resolution. These are all things that will be used as data by a search engine to try to understand what you're doing, how you're doing it, what you're looking for. The search engine wants to make money. And to do that, they need to keep you coming back as a searcher. Because only if they keep you coming back as a searcher will they have the opportunity to show you more ads. And you're going to click on a percentage of those ads. And so they want to provide really good results. They're incentivized to provide high quality results tailored specifically to you. because that's also how they make money, right? So we're thinking about, as a search engine now, we've talked about ads, we've talked about intent, and that intent is actually really complicated. And there's a whole lot of different factors all wrapped up in intent. It's not just the search term that you use. There's another really important one, which is, like if we're thinking about any given website and does it belong on a particular search results page? The question is, does the content match that intent? The intent being the search phrase and what the search engine thinks the searcher wants to achieve. So let's say that you have a website all about dogs and somebody searched something about cats. Obviously, there is no match. There's a mismatch in the type of content on that website and the search that was done by the searcher, right? And the intent that that searcher wants to achieve. So a dog website is not going to rank for a keyword term, a search phrase for cats. And that seems really obvious, but I want to make sure you understand this breakdown. Like, the content has to match the search keyword and the perceived intent that the search engine believes you have. If it doesn't, it will not show up. So if a website is off topic, or maybe there's one article about a particular topic on a website. In general, it's all about these other things, but there's this one article, the dog website has one article about cats. I mean, it's possible that that cat article will rank well, but it's not necessarily enough to have a single article for a search engine to consider that that website is a content match. Right? It's more complicated than just you putting out one page and saying, well, now we're about cats too. Search engines are way more sophisticated than this. And the reason is because they want to show great results to searchers so that those searchers will consistently keep coming back. The next item, the last item I really kind of want to throw out there so that you're thinking about it, is the perceived value that the search engine has for that website. If you launch a new website, you grab a domain name today, allaboutdogs.com, you throw up a website today, you put up a couple articles, why dogs are great, 7 great dog breeds, 7 ways to teach your dog new things. And then you start searching. Number one, Google might not even know about the website yet since it's today. But number two, there is zero perceived value in that website from the search engine. And the reason is because there's no data out there on the internet to suggest that this website you have created is a website of any value. There are no links into that website from other highly reputable websites. There's no business listings out there showing that maybe this website is tied to a particular business. There are no social media posts out there from accounts other than yours talking about this particular website, right? Like, there is no data out there for a search engine to think about, is this a website of value? And so the value of that content really matters, right? So now we have a little trifecta here, right? I'm going to take ads and I'm going to put them off to the side because there's this advertising thing that search engines want to do. But now we have this little trifecta: the intent of the searcher, which includes the keyword, what the search engine knows about the behavior of that searcher, the location, et cetera, et cetera. And that includes, by the way, websites that searcher has visited before and what they did once they got there. I mean, it's very complicated, the amount of data that search engines are considering. The next is, does the content match the intent of the searcher? There's a whole lot there, right? Dog website, cat website, et cetera, et cetera. That one's pretty straightforward to understand. And then there is the value of the content, the value of the website in the eyes of the search engine. So these three things have to come together for a website to be considered as something to show on search results. And then it gets more interesting again, because now, let's say you're searching for cats, for some interesting search associated with cats. And let's say there are 25,000 websites that have content that the search engine believes is a content match for that search. So I want to introduce you to this idea of competition. Your website has this article about cats. You really want to be, in the top few spots on this particular search. Search engine understands the intent. It believes there's a content match for the intent. It sees that there is some value in your content based on the other information it has. But you have 25,000 competitors out there with a piece of content that fits that particular intent. Do you see now how the competition also matters? the the strength of the match on the intent, the perceived value of of those competitor websites and those businesses. If there are businesses that have been out there for a very long time, investing in search engine optimization, investing in good content, investing in social media coverage and media coverage and all these things, and they've been doing that for a very long time, they're going to have an extremely high perceived value of content. If your website is a few days old, you've started to do some of those things, you've got that content match, but the perceived value of content is low. Guess what? You're not showing up at the top. That's just what it is. Let's say that you've got a really high perceived value of the content. So, like maybe it's a social media post, like Facebook, right? One of the highest perceived value sites in the world. But your content doesn't match, right? The page itself doesn't match. The content doesn't match. Doesn't matter that the perceived value of the website is incredible. If the content doesn't match the intent, you're also not going to show up there. So, given that search engine's goal is to provide the most sought after information to the searcher, if we're doing search engine optimization work, what are we doing, and how does it work? This is kind of the next, like, how do we think about search engine optimization in this context? So, search engine optimization is creating content and improving the perceived value of that content in the eyes of a search engine. So, we need to create content that matches intents. We need to create valuable content. Compared to the competition, it needs to be strong content. So if you just put a word out there and it says cats, one page, on your site, one word on the page, it says cats. There is zero value in that content, even though it might be a content match, but there's zero value actually in that content. And that, we're not going to dig too much into the competitiveness of content and how we have to rise to the competitive level if we want to rank well. That is a different video, but there is certainly a whole aspect there in your content. So we're gonna work on content when we're doing search engine optimization. We're gonna make changes to your website. We might be adding pages. We might be adding articles. We might be changing sections, doing all sorts of things on the website to help search engines understand what that website is about and what it's a content match for. We're also going to do a whole bunch of work on the perceived value of the content for the search engine. This is going to be local SEO, so business listings and citations and Google profiles and things like that. We need to make sure those are all there. We need to make sure that there's plenty of links coming into this website from other websites about the same sorts of topics, and that those websites are seen as valuable and worthy and have a high perceived value. We're going to need to do some social media work and make sure that social media platforms and media platforms and maybe media agencies like news agencies are bringing in some coverage about the website, and there's links being generated and content being generated that comes back to this particular website and business that we're trying to bring up in search results. So there's a lot of work there on both helping a search engine understand the content match and getting really good about giving a search engine the information it needs to match that content, and then working to increase the perceived value of that website. Okay, so if we're doing search engine optimization and we're working to boost the content match to the right topics and we're working to increase perceived value, there's something that you need to understand about your position. And that is your position is not going to stay the same. And the reason is that the intent and data that a search engine has about searchers and the interpretation of that intent is going to change over time. The search engine is going to change the rules over time. The original search engines literally just counted the number of links coming into a website from other websites, and the one that had the most links won. So in the very early days of SEO, all we had to do was throw out stupid dummy websites that didn't have any value, just had 100 words of text on them with a link to all these different pages that you wanted to boost in SEO. You just did that all day, every day, and you raised the link count, and you brought up the value of a website. These days, the search engines are incredibly more sophisticated, right? You've heard of artificial intelligence when it comes to computers and data. These are huge artificial intelligence engines. And so I'll give you a very specific example. So today, a search engine may understand something about me. It might understand my location. And it might understand that I am at work. I'm most likely at a commercial location. It's during the day. I'm at this location and then I'm away from this location, but I'm logged in with the same profile in the search engine. So it understands that I am in a work context when I am at work. And I may behave differently and choose different websites in the search results and that whole thing when I am at work. When I go home, I am in a different location. The search engine can see that I am in a different context and I behave differently when I search for things at home. A website that might be a great fit for me at work might be a horrible fit for me at home as a search result. And so this is a very specific example that I want you to hear, because this is a very simple example where a website might rank differently based on what the search engine understands about the searcher. If my location changes, if now I'm on vacation, it can change. If I'm working from home instead of an office, it can change. Now we think about time of day. And what I'm pointing out is that the ranking that your website receives might change over a particular day because of the patterns of the searchers. Let me give you another example. We recently saw Google in particular. This was in June, July timeframe is when we really noticed it from a data standpoint. It started bringing in a new type of intent understanding to searches. And what it was doing is Google was assessing whether or not the searcher wanted to find a retail business that the searcher could walk into to do something or to buy something or to order something. So instead of it just saying, so I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I am looking for balloon decor. I'm looking for balloons. Let's get a little bit more generic. I'm looking for balloons. Google started trying to decide if the intent of that searcher was for a retail store or not. And in some markets, it decided that all the searchers were interested in finding a store where they could purchase a balloon, as opposed to looking more generically for the concept of balloon decorations. And so I might be interested in event planning and decor services and balloon decor services, which is not generally, those types of businesses don't have a retail location. We saw a massive swing in some markets, a massive change in the rankings of websites, because Google was considering a new type of intent in finding search results and where to put those search results, where to put websites and businesses on the results page. So all the SEO work that had been done up to that point by businesses to do all the right things to get the content matching, to get the perceived value of that website boosted up, it did not matter, because Google had this entirely new filter it was applying. Is this a retail location business and website or not? And if you were not, if it believed that the intent was retail, your business was not showing up. So all that investment in SEO, that is an investment in keeping up with what's happening in search engines to bring a better content match, to increase that perceived value. And the content and the perceived value standards change over time. And that's why people spend the money on SEO, is because these things change over time. And what's working today is not necessarily what's going to be working a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. It's going to be very different. And so if you want your business to keep up, that's why you would invest in search engine optimization. So I hope this video has given you a little bit more information about how search engines consider whether or not a website should be shown in any given position. I hope you understand the intent of or the goals of the search engine, which is to provide great results so that they can sell ads and that they have this whole advertising goal. And I hope you understand that if you're considering having someone help you with search engine optimization, or you're working on search engine optimization for your business, or you're hiring a firm to do this, that you understand where that search engine optimization work, like what the dynamics are, what the knobs and dials are that person or that you are focused on and trying to improve. But also that it is not simple, like the SEO provider, the person doing that work, they don't own the search engine, so they can't put you in any given place. And when the search engine changes, the search engine changes, and that's completely out of that provider's control or your control as the person doing SEO for your business. Thank you so much for paying attention, for listening, for getting all the way to the end. If you value this content, please hit a like. If you want to get more, please subscribe. We're going to be talking about digital marketing and how it impacts your business on a consistent basis. There's tons and tons of videos here on the profile, so feel free to check it out. Feel free to learn more, and we'll continue sharing what we see in the market and how things happen on the in this digital marketing space, which is changing so fast right now. Thank you, and I hope you're having a great day.